Vian woke up to a loud knock on the door. She opened her eyes and saw Jimin getting out of the bed. He wore a pair of and a t-shirt. He smiled at her and kissed her forehead. Good morning, Jagi. I'll go see who it is. You stay here and rest, he said, getting dressed. Vian groaned and rolled over. She hated how he called her Jagi, how he kissed her forehead, how he acted like they were a happy couple. They were not a happy couple. They were not even a real couple. They were only married on paper, not in heart. They had not kissed. They had not cuddled. They had not loved. They had only. And Vian was glad for that. She didn't want to touch him. She didn't want to kiss him. She didn't want to with him. She didn't want him at all. She heard Jimin open the door and greet someone. She heard another voice, a female voice, a voice that made her heart sink. Hello Jimin, I'm Shinjuna. I'm your new neighbor. I brought you some fresh eggs and milk. Vian gasped and sat up. She couldn't believe her ears. She couldn't believe her eyes. She saw Juna standing at the door looking pretty and sweet.
Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like a mason.
She carried a basket with some eggs and milk.
Like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game.
She was here. She was here for him. She had come to visit him.
I was born impatient.
Vian felt a surge of jealousy and anger in her heart. She walked to the door. She glared at Juna and snatched the basket from her hands. Thank you, Juna. That's very kind of you. But we don't need your eggs and milk. We have plenty of our own, she said, her voice cold and rude. Juna looked at Vian with surprise and hurt. She smiled weakly and nodded. Of course, Vian. I'm sorry to bother you. I just wanted to greet you because I'm new in your neighborhood, she said, her voice soft and polite.
Put it on the line and you'll come up empty.
Well, thank you, but we're fine on our own. We don't need your help or your company, Vian said, slamming the door in Yuna's face. She turned to Jimin, hoping to find some support or approval in his eyes. But he was not looking at her. He was looking at the door, his expression shocked and angry. He looked at her with disbelief and disappointment. He clenched his fist and gritted his teeth. He spoke in a low and cold voice. What was that all about? Vian stared at Jimin, feeling defiant and angry. She didn't care about his reaction. She didn't care about his feelings. She didn't care about his opinion. She only cared about herself, her own happiness, her own freedom. She spoke in a high and loud voice. What was that all about? That was me telling that nosy and annoying neighbor to leave us alone. That was me protecting our privacy and our dignity. That was me doing what you should have done. Jimin shook his head, feeling frustrated and hurt. He couldn't believe her attitude. He couldn't believe her words. He couldn't believe her actions. He only wanted to nice to Juna, polite to his neighbor. He spoke in a low and calm voice. Why? You don't understand. Juna is not a nosy and annoying neighbor. She is a kind and helpful neighbor. She is not a threat to our privacy and our dignity. She is a support to our community and our livelihood. She is not an enemy to us. She is a friend to us. Vine scoffed, feeling disgusted and jealous. She spoke in a harsh and cold voice. A friend to you? Is that what you call her? A friend? Or is she something more? Do you have feelings for her? Do you have a history with her? Do you have a future with her? Jimin sighed, feeling tired and sad. He didn't want to argue with her, fight with her, or hurt her. He spoke in a gentle and warm voice. Vian, please listen to me. Yuna is nothing more than a neighbor. I don't have feelings for her or history with her. I don't have a future with her. I only have you. You are my wife. You are my partner. You are my love. He said, his voice tender and loving. Vian laughed, feeling angry. She didn't listen to him. She didn't believe him or love him. Me, your wife, your partner, your love. Don't make me laugh. You don't know what those words mean, she said, her voice hateful. Vian, that was very rude and disrespectful of you. Yuna is our neighbor and our friend. She was only trying to be nice and helpful. She brought us some fresh eggs and milk, which are very valuable in this area. She didn't deserve to be treated like that. You don't understand, Vian. This is not the city where you can buy anything you want with money. This is the countryside, where you must work hard for everything you need. This is a community where you must be friendly and grateful to everyone who helps you. You have to change your attitude, Vian. You must adapt to your new environment. You have to appreciate your new home. You must respect your husband. Because I give you respect all the time. I love you, Vine. I married you because I wanted to make you happy. I wanted to share my life with you. I wanted to show you a different way of living, a simpler and more meaningful way. But you don't love me, Vian. You don't want to be with me. You don't want to be here. You don't want to be my wife. You only want to go back to your old life, your old luxuries. You only want to hurt me, Vian. You only want to make me angry, make me sad, make me leave. Well, you got what you wanted, Vian. I'm leaving. I'm leaving you alone in this house. I'm leaving you alone with your anger and your hatred. I'm leaving you alone with yourself.
Invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague.
He grabbed his keys and his jacket and walked out of the door. He got in his truck and drove away from the house. He left Vian alone in the house. He left Vian alone with her anger and hatred.
I know most are festering.
He left Vian alone with herself.
No mercy.
Vian watched him leave, feeling numb and empty. She had just witnessed Jimin leave her, without a word or a glance. She had just pushed him away.
Chaotic.
She had just lost him. She picked up the phone and dialed a number. She waited for a few seconds, then heard a voice. Hello, this is Eunwoo. Who is this? Vian felt a surge of joy and relief in her heart. She recognized the voice that she loved, the voice that she missed, the voice that she needed. Hello, Eunwoo. It's me, Vian. She spoke in a soft and sweet voice. Vian, love, How are you? Where are you? Are you okay? He asked, his voice sincere and worried. Eunwoo, I'm fine. I'm at Jimin's house. I'm okay, but I need you. I need you to come and get me. I need you to take me away from here. I want you to be with me, she said, her voice desperate and hopeful. Eunwoo felt a wave of anger and pity in his heart. He knew her situation that he hated, that he wanted to change, that he wanted to end. Ryan, don't worry. I'm coming for you. I'm going to save you. I will take you away from here. I'm going to be with you, he said, his voice confident. Ryan felt a flicker of doubt and guilt in her heart. She remembered Jimin who had married her, Jimin who had taken her in, Jimin who had tried to make her happy, Jimin who had loved her. She realized that she had been unfair, cruel, and ungrateful to him. She realized that she had hurt him, made him sad. She realized that she had lost him. Eunwoo, wait. I'm not sure. I don't know what to do. I don't know, but I want what I feel. Eunwoo felt a pang of fear and frustration in his heart. He sensed her hesitation, confusion. He sensed her change of heart. He spoke in a desperate voice. Ryan, please, don't do this to me. Don't do this to us. You know what you want. You know what you feel. You want me. You love me, he said, his voice passionate and convincing. Eunwoo, I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't leave Jimin. I can't hurt him again. I can't betray him again. She put down the phone and got dressed. She grabbed her keys and ran out of the door. She got in Jimin's other truck and drove away from the house. She drove toward the town where Jimin worked as a vet. She drove toward the man who loved her unconditionally, who made her happy genuinely, who was her husband truly. She drove towards Jimin, towards herself. Ryan drove for about half an hour until she reached the town where Jimin worked as a vet. She parked the truck outside his clinic and ran inside. She saw a receptionist at the desk, a young woman with blonde hair and glasses. Hello, can I help you? The receptionist asked, smiling. Yes, please, I'm looking for Park Jimin. He's my husband. Is he here? Ryan asked, her voice anxious and hopeful. The receptionist looked at Ryan with surprise and curiosity. She recognized her as the new bride of Jimin, the one who had married him in a hurry and moved in with him in his farm. She had heard rumors about their marriage, that it was arranged by her father. She wondered what she was doing here, what she wanted from him, and what she felt for him. She decided to be polite and helpful. Yes, he's here. He's in the back room treating a dog. Do you want me to call him for you? No, thank you. I'll go see him myself, Ryan said, smiling back. She walked past the receptionist and headed to the back room. She opened the door and saw Jimin standing there wearing a white coat and gloves. He was holding a dog in his arms, a brown and white spaniel. He was examining its ears, looking for signs of infection. He looked up and saw Ryan standing there looking beautiful and radiant as ever. He felt a joy of shock and joy in his heart. He couldn't believe his eyes. He couldn't believe his luck. She was here. She was here for him. She had come back to him. He felt a surge of love and happiness in his heart. He put down the dog and took off his gloves. He smiled at her and opened his arm. Ryan, you're here? You're really here? He exclaimed, his voice sincere and happy. Vine felt a surge of love and happiness in her heart. She ran to him and jumped into his arms. She hugged him tightly and kissed him passionately. Jimin, I'm here. I'm really here, she exclaimed, her voice sincere and happy. They looked into each other's eyes and smiled. They leaned in and kissed again. They were finally together again. They were finally became happy. But their happiness was not complete. They had something to say to each other. They had something to apologize for, something to forgive for. Ryan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for leaving you alone in the house, for hurting you with my words. I'm sorry for doubting you with my thoughts. Jimin said, his voice apologetic and regretful. Jimin, I'm sorry too. I'm sorry for being rude to Yuna, for being ungrateful to you. I'm sorry for being selfish with my feelings. They hugged and forgave each other. Ryan, I love you. I love you more than anything in this world. You are my wife, my partner, my love. Jimin said, his voice tender and loving. Jimin, I love you too. They were happy together and complete together. Jimin and Ryan smiled at each other, feeling happy and content. They had just reconciled their differences and confessed their love. They had just decided to give their marriage a chance and make it work. But Jimin had one more thing to say to Ryan. He wanted to make their marriage official and meaningful. He wanted to show her how much he cared for her and respected her. He wanted to ask her a very important question. He took her hand and looked into her eyes. Ryan, I have something to ask you. Something that I should have asked you before we got married. Something that I hope you will say yes to, he said, his voice nervous and hopeful. What is it, Jimin? Ryan asked, feeling curious and excited. Jimin took a deep breath and spoke from his heart. Ryan, will you marry me? Will you marry me in a proper way? In a church, with a priest, with a ring, with vows, with witnesses, with family and friends? Will you marry me out of love, not out of obligation? Will you marry me because you want to, not because you have to? Ryan felt a wave of emotion wash over her. She felt touched by his words, moved by his gesture, honored by his proposal. She felt loved by him. She looked at him and smiled. Yes, Jimin. Yes, I will marry you. Jimin felt a surge of joy and relief in his heart. He heard her words, saw her smile, felt her hand. She accepted him.
Pas de soleil, pas de soleil, pas de soleil.
4 years later, Ryan and Jimin were living happily in their farm. They had a beautiful daughter, Ari, who was 3 years old. She had her father's black hair and brown eyes, and her mother's nose and sparkling smile. She was a bundle of joy and energy, who loved to play with the animals. Ryan was pregnant with their second child, a boy who was due any day now. She was glowing with happiness and excitement, eager to meet her son and hold him in her arms. She was grateful for her life, for her husband, for her children. She loved them more than anything in the world. Jimin was proud of his family, of his wife, of his children. He was devoted to them, caring for them, protecting them, providing for them. He was happy with his life, with his work, with his home. He loved them more than anything in the world. They were a family. They were a complete family, a free and loving family. One day, Vian felt a sharp pain in her belly. She knew it was time. She called Jimin, who was at the clinic treating a horse. He heard her voice, heard her words, heard her urgency. He dropped everything and rushed to the farm. He got in his truck and drove as fast as he could. He reached the house and saw Vian waiting for him at the door. She smiled at him and took his hand. "Jimin, it's time. Our son is coming," she said, her voice calm and happy. Jimin felt a surge of joy and nervousness in his heart. He smiled at her and kissed her forehead. They sent their daughter at their neighbor house. He took Vian to the truck and drove to the hospital. He held her hand and talked to her along the way. He told her how much he loved her, how much he admired her, and how much he supported her. He told her how much he hoped their son would be like them, like Ari, like their love. They reached the hospital and checked in. They were taken to the delivery room, where a nurse and a doctor were waiting for them. They greeted them warmly and prepared them for the birth. Jimin stood by her side, holding her hand and encouraging her. He wiped her sweat and kissed her cheek. He whispered words of love and praise in her ear. After an hour of labor, Vian gave one final push and delivered their son. The doctor held him up and showed him to them. He was a handsome boy. He cried loudly and waved his arms. He was alive. He was healthy. He was theirs. The doctor cut the cord and wrapped him in a blanket. He handed him to Vian, who held him close to her chest. She looked at him with love. She kissed his forehead and whispered his name. "Hello, Eunwoo. I'm your mother. I love you," she said softly. Jimin leaned over and looked at his son with pride and love. He kissed his cheek and whispered his name too. "Hello, Eunwoo. I'm your father. I love you too." They hugged each other and their son. They felt a wave of emotion wash over them. They felt joy and gratitude, relief and wonder, happiness and love. They gazed into each other's eyes and felt their hearts beat as one. They moved closer and kissed gently, expressing their love and happiness.
Step one.
Love is not a matter of wealth or status, but of the heart and soul. She married him for convenience, but stayed with him for love. He was not rich in money, but rich in kindness and honesty. She learned to appreciate his simple and humble life, and he learned to cherish her generous and gentle spirit. They were different in many ways, but they were perfect for each other.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's